because when we get into a lot of debt, we often feel like it's manageable when we start getting into debt. But as we get more and more and more debt, it becomes an unmanageable brick that's on our chest, and we just don't know what to do. Which is why I was, encouraged to bring Credit Booster AI to life. We also have a brick and mortar company called Credit Booster, where we help people manage their bad credit situation and help them restore it. But Credit Booster AI is a much more affordable way for us to get into the masses' hands, where if somebody can't afford to pay a couple of grand to have their credit repaired, restored, and have credit counseling and guidance, we decided to make an app which lets you do it even for free. So that's where Credit Booster AI comes in. As far as my background comes in, I have over 2 decades in the credit repair and credit management industry. So I feel that I am very well qualified to speak on this subject, and I'd be happy to share my knowledge. And when you're getting into it, you need to know what's going to happen. When you get into a debt consolidation situation, there's debt consolidation loans, which are okay, and then there's debt consolidation programs. You need to understand that a lot of people misuse that term. For example, debt consolidation, what is it and what is it not? Very important. Debt consolidation is not debt settlement. And a lot of people mistake those two terms, not knowing what they're getting into. Debt consolidation is usually when you get one loan to consolidate multiple outstanding debts, like multiple credit cards or multiple credit cards and a loan, into one payment. Meaning, if you get a debt consolidation loan, you'll pay off all of your credit cards. They'll be at zero, but your loan will be carrying all of those balances. It'll typically be lower interest than many credit cards are, and it'll help you kind of structure a 36-month, 48-month, or even a 60-month payment term, so you can pay that debt off in a certain amount of time. With credit cards, if you keep paying the minimum payment, you keep paying for 30 years. With debt consolidation, it's much better because you're going to get 36 months, 48 months, or 60 months, and then you know that once you pay that off, it's done, it's over. That's what debt consolidation is. That settlement, which a lot of people mistaken for debt consolidation, is when you communicate with your creditors, like your credit cards, other loan companies, and say, hey guys, I'm in a tough spot. I'm not going to be able to pay you what I owe you, but if you'd like to not push me over the edge into bankruptcy or an even worse situation, let's talk. And how can I pay you what I owe you, but it's going to be either less than what I owe you, or stop the interest right now, or just like make a deal with me so I can somehow pay you because I want to, but I don't want to get pushed into bankruptcy. If you don't deal with me, I'm going to have to go into bankruptcy, and then you're never going to get your money. So that's debt settlement, and debt settlement kills your credit. Debt consolidation saves your credit. Helps you in a similar way that Credit Karma does to monitor your credit. So you get to see all 3 of your credit scores. The next step that we do, which is a little bit beyond what Credit Karma does, is that we have AI analyze your credit, because Credit Karma is great at displaying your credit. So you can say, oh, Credit Karma, thank you so much. I get to see what my credit's doing. I get to see what everything is. But a lot of people, quite frankly, don't understand the depth of their credit. They're looking at these numbers and they make no sense. And we made the app kind of understanding that, you know what if somebody doesn't really understand credit? What if they need somebody to say, hey, listen, here's what's really going on. You can see these numbers, you can see these lenders. People think that their credit cards are made by Visa and MasterCard. They don't understand that those are payment processors. They don't understand that your credit card is put out by Bank of America, Capital One, Chase Bank, Citibank. They need to understand that. So Credit Booster AI goes a step further to actually say, hey, here's your credit, and now let me tell you what these things mean. After we know what these things mean, here's what's holding you back from having a better score or getting access to top-level credit cards and loans. Here's what you need to do to get your score up and to get top-level credit cards and loans. And then if you want, push this button, and we'll actually not just tell you what to do, we'll do it for you. It lets people get into trouble because you will take out that loan. You will pay off your outstanding debts with your credit cards, which are usually today, credit cards can be 25% plus, and that's a norm. And you'll have your credit cards with zero balance, and you'll have your loan, and you're like, I have all these credit cards. So as opposed to, doing right, which is saying, oh my God, these guys can get me in trouble, let me set that aside and like just keep them for life-threatening emergencies. You're gonna say, well, I'm paying that loan, I could spend some money on my credit cards again. And the problem is you'll get that loan, and then you'll get that credit card debt once again, because most debt consolidation loans don't force you or don't enforce that you're going to close your credit cards. Some will say, hey, listen, we're going to pay off your credit cards, close them. And you'll be like, okay, sure, I will. But nobody does. And I don't think I would either, to be honest with you. I probably wouldn't use the credit cards, but I wouldn't close them because it's not good for your credit. And then they get into debt in two places. You have that loan which is hanging on your balance, and then you have those $0 credit cards. You'll start spending little by little, and you'll get right back to where you were just because you could, just because the credit was available. Most of us start having credit cards from like 18, 19, something around that. So let's say you're 30 or 40. If you close a 22-year-old credit card, your credit age will go down, your credit score will go down. You're going to create a bad situation. So the truth is, not only would I not do it, I also wouldn't recommend it. The truth is, you have to be very disciplined not to get into those debts again, and maybe closing them is the right move for somebody who it's there. Like it's hard to control yourself. We need money. You want to live a little bit better life than you can really afford, and you have those credit cards. You want to go to that nice restaurant. The score drop can be significant. If you close, let's say the average person has 5 credit cards and you close them, you'll drop 50 points minimum. On top of already bad credit score, that's really not good. Not closing those cards, though, can kill you financially. Because some people can manage and some people can't. Should you close some and not others? Not really. If you can control yourself and not spend on those other cards, then you can control yourself and not spend on the others. Because access to credit, it's a very important thing for most individuals, and to eliminate your own access voluntarily is foolish. Now, if you don't have the discipline to maintain a zero balance or low balance, take advantage of 0% APR periods and then pay it off and then not get into debt, which, just so you know, majority of people don't have that discipline. That's why those 0% APR offers exist, because lenders know that you're going to use that 0% APR period and you're not going to pay off that card in time to take advantage of the whole 0% APR. And then we're going to be charging you 30%, 28% for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, maybe 30 years. So lenders know that your likelihood of paying off good deals on time is slim to none. Now, since we know that billion-dollar lenders already pretty much predict your behavior, that's why they, some people don't think to ask themselves, why is somebody giving me free money? Money at 0% APR sounds like an unfair deal, sounds like I'm winning here. Because the lenders know that more often than not, you'll never pay off that credit card in that 12-month or 13-month or even 18-month period. You're going to take advantage of it, and then something's going to come up in life, and you're just going to not do it. And then after that 0% APR period ends, you have the real rate, which is 25%, 28%, 30%. And that's why I'm bringing that up, is because those all sound like good deals. We're talking about being responsible. We're talking about being smart. Smart people, responsible people, don't pay off their credit cards on time just because they can't, or they didn't, or they don't want to, whatever it may be. It just didn't happen, and the lenders know it. So that brings us to the point that you just brought up. You consolidated your debt. You have one loan. You just paid off all your credit cards, and then you have these, let's just say, 5 credit cards. What do you do? Like I just said, I wouldn't close the cards, but even probably I wouldn't have. I wouldn't stick to the rules. I wouldn't stick to, I just got a loan. My credit cards are at 0. I would still use them, and so will you, and so will everybody else, because that's just what it is. Is it right to close the credit cards down? No. Should you do it? Yes. A lot of people with when they're maxed out think, okay, cool, I'm maxed out. It's now time to get a debt consolidation loan. If your score is too low, you're not going to get the debt consolidation loan. A debt consolidation loan is not guaranteed, and a lot of people think that it is. So if you're spending money now and you're looking to the future thinking, oh, I'll just get a debt consolidation loan, a word to the wise. If you're spending money on your credit cards, don't max out one card and use the other cards to 0. No, spread out the spend so that your proportion of debt to credit is equally spread out. If you have $30,000 worth of credit, don't max out that $20,000 credit card and not use the other ones so that they can be at 0, because that one maxed out card will kill your credit score. Your credit score will take a nosedive. If you have $30,000 worth of credit and you plan to use 20, spread it out through all the cards that you have, so that your debt to available credit ratio on each card is as low as possible, meaning you have a buffer on each card. That will actually do less damage to your credit score itself, as opposed to spending. You'll still spend the same amount of money, but as opposed to spending it on one card, you'll spread it out on 3, 4, or 5, keeping your debt to credit ratio as low as possible, and that'll preserve your score as high as possible. That's very important that people understand that a debt consolidation loan is not guaranteed. If you want to increase your chances when you're spending that money, spread out the spend across all cards. Don't spend it all on one. Feel relief because all of your credit cards will get paid off by the debt consolidation loan. That's a good thing. Second thing they're going to see is their credit score is going to jump up, and I'm talking about way up, because just as we were talking about debt to credit ratio, if you were maxed out before, your 100% usage, so your debt to credit ratio is high, because your debt to your available credit is basically consuming all of the availability. When you pay off the loan, when you pay off all your credit cards using the debt consolidation loan, your debt to credit ratio becomes 0. Your credit score will skyrocket within the first 30 to 45 days of the payoff. The new loan will take about 30 to 45 days to pop on your credit, but if you time it right, you'll actually have paid off your credit cards before the new loan shows up as a debt on your credit. Now, it's important to understand what's the difference between credit card debt and the debt on a consolidation loan. A consolidation loan is not revolving debt, which is what your credit cards are. Your credit cards, when you pay them off, they don't close out. They keep revolving your limit. You keep being able to use them. You spend, you pay off, spend, you pay off. With a debt consolidation loan, there is no such thing. It's an installment loan, meaning you knock out little chunks of that debt over time, but once that debt is paid off, it doesn't revolve again. You don't have that credit again. You now have the opportunity to just pay it off and close it, and that's okay. So credit card, you don't want to close. A loan, you do. That's the difference. A revolving debt, you want to keep open so that it builds age and seasoning on your credit report. An installment loan, that's the whole point. You buy something, or you get a loan and you pay it off in installments. Once the installment loan hits your credit, it's going to go down a little bit, because it's going to show, hey, look, you got new debt. But unlike a credit card, which gets maxed out, the loan is made to start from a maxed out position and then gets knocked out over time. So it's going to be a really good feeling. I got to be honest with you. If anybody who's going to be watching this is struggling with credit card debt, I strongly advise them to, if they can't get a debt consolidation loan right this minute because their score is too low, my suggestion is to follow what I said previously. Pay off your credit cards somehow, some way, strategically, to get your usage down to about 70% on each card. And then you apply for that loan, and then you actually will get it. And how do you get to that number? Friends and family is kind of one way of consolidating your debt, at least temporarily, until you actually go to a lender and really consolidate it. There are ways. Is probably going to have their credit cards not completely maxed out. Maybe one little card will be maxed out, but the ideal candidate would have about 70 to 80% usage on all of their cards. Their credit score will be around 660, 670. And that's a pretty sure bet that you will get approved, because the lender can see that you're actually are pretty smart about your stuff. You just got into a little trouble by maybe using a little bit more credit than you should have, and helping you out is going to help you pay off your credit cards. They're going to give you not the best rate on the planet. They're going to give you a mediocre rate. It's going to be somewhere around 15 to 18, but it's still better than your credit cards, 28 or 30. And they're going to give you a structured term. So it's going to be 36 months, 48 months, or 60 months, where basically, as long as you keep making the monthly payments, in 36, 48, or 60 months, you'll actually pay off that debt. They will either A, pay directly to your credit cards, or B, just give you a check after you tell them how much debt you have, and then you'll pay to your credit cards. Dangerous thing, by the way, when people get that check in their own account. And then once you do it, your credit score goes up right away. You breathe a sigh of relief, because those credit cards, they can be pretty vicious. And now you know that in 36, 48, or 60 months, as long as you stick to those payments, you're going to pay off that loan. You're going to have no debt, and you're going to be fine. That's pretty much the ideal candidate for a debt consolidation loan. Now, if you want to go flip side and say who is not an ideal candidate, or who won't get approved, Unfortunately, that's the majority, and that's the misconception that everybody has. They think that they're entitled to a debt consolidation loan. Everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm just going to get a debt consolidation loan." They don't understand that, debt consolidation loans and those lenders, they also don't want to get burned. If they feel that you're too much of a risk, if they feel that this is not going to save you, this is going to just take them down with you, they're not going to do it. Right. First of all, guys, being in debt sucks. It's actually a pretty nasty weight on your chest. It causes anxiety, and a lot of people get into it and just have no idea how to get out. Nobody wants to be irresponsible. Nobody wants to default. Nobody wants to be late on their payments. But, when you're looking at a choice and you have a limited income, you also have to make choices like, do I feed my kids? Do I buy them some new clothes? I need some new shoes. Of course, when you get into debt, you need to kind of tighten the belt a little bit, and you need to not go to that expensive restaurant. You need to cook at home. You need to look for ways to cut on expenses, because you don't need to live posh. It's okay to be living within your means. Not only is it okay, it's actually probably a pious thing to do. But if you do find yourself in that situation, know this: it's not the end of the world. You'll be just fine, and there are places you can go. The first step, if you're completely maxed out, if you're maxed out not just to 100%, if you're at 110% of your credit, know this: slowly start paying down your credit cards with the goal to pay them down to 70% debt to credit ratio. Know one more kind of alert: when lenders see that you're using too much of their credit, just as you pay down to 70% debt to credit, and when I say 70% debt to credit, I'll give you an example. It's like using 7,000 out of 10,000. Lenders might cut your credit limit down. So just as you think you're going to get to that 70% debt to credit ratio, your lender's going to be like, "Oh, you're high risk. We decided to cut your credit limit down to, exactly how much you owe." And a lot of people get super pissed off when that happens. And actually, that's actually when a lot of people stop paying their debts. They're like, "Oh, well, if you're going to be like that, boom, no paying your credit card anymore will I do." And that's a very common reaction. Especially when somebody's following advice like me. I tell them, "Hey, get down to 70%. Then they do like, "Hey, I'm at 70%. They're like, "No, my bank cut my limit, and now you're at 100% again." And I wish a lot of lenders would actually talk to their customers and say, "Hey, listen, how are you doing? Can we help? What's going on?" A little bit of communication would go a long way. But keep at it. Paying off your debt is a very rewarding, good feeling, whether it's by simply paying off your credit card or actually paying it down, getting a debt consolidation loan, having your cards go to zero, and then paying off that loan. If you feel that it's going to be tough for you not to spend, I'm in the credit space. My goal is how to tell people what to do to get the maximum credit score. It's not advisable to close credit cards, but you know what? If you have the devil on your shoulder and you don't knock him off, you might just start talking to him. So maybe it's not a bad idea, if you're trying to get out of debt, to close your cards and just absorb the negative impact of it. You'll get back up on your feet eventually anyway. So if you're in debt, don't worry, things are going to be okay. So Credit Booster AI provides absolutely all of the tools to the touch of your fingertips, and it makes it not only easy, it actually makes it fun to play with your credit. We also rolled out a feature which is called Talk to Your Credit. So if you want to look at your credit report and you're like, "Okay, cool, I see where I'm at, but I want to get a $50,000 credit card. What do I do?" You can literally push the talk button and you can have a conversation with your credit report. It's called Credit Mentor, where you say, "Hey, listen, I see where I'm at. This is where I want to be." And Credit Mentor analyzes your entire credit report and tells you, "Here's what you need to do, what action points you need to take in order to get to where you want to be." And of course, what good is it when somebody just tells you what to do? It's always good that they tell you what to do and then they say, "And if you want to push this button, I'll do it for you." And basically, that's what Credit Booster AI is.